Hey, it's Noelle from Country Credits. I'm here with Ben Williams, a very popular Nashville songwriter. So what's up, Ben? How are you?
What's up? Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that you're on with us. So
Yeah.
I know we have a lot to talk about in a little time. So if you want to just start by kind of like jumping into how you became a writer and how you landed in Nashville. I know you're not from Nashville initially, and the backstory of you.
Totally. So I grew up outside of San Francisco in a place called Burlingame, California, and then spent the summers in Pegram, Tennessee. And I've always listened to country music. Like my mom had it on in the car every day on the way to school. Like it's just always like I used to literally pregame football games listening to like In Color, Jamie Johnson, and like sad songs. I just like have always loved country music. And so I played football and track and cross country in high school, and I ended up going and running track and cross country at a college in California called Santa Clara University. And when I was at Santa Clara, I had a keyboard in my dorm room, and like I like started playing chords on that keyboard, and like literally just a song fell out. It was freshman year in college. I was like communications, political science major, didn't know what I wanted to do, and then like as soon as that song, and it was obviously it was like first song, wasn't like anything special, but the moment I was like, oh my god, I can write song. Like I was just like, this is what I want to do with my life. And so
Wow.
like I finished up that year at school and then called the track coach at Belmont, cross country coach, and he let me on the team. And so as soon as like I got my hold on, Belmont, I just moved to Nashville and immediately just started. Well, then I got here and started writing with a bunch of the like Belmont people and then got my internship in Major Bob and that just like started everything.
So you actually went to Belmont for songwriting or for
I went to Belmont for music business. This is a boom, by the way.
Does she have a UT thing on?
Yeah, he's got a UT jersey on.
So cute. That's very appropriate. Um,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, so music business. So then you interned. Okay, awesome. So then how far after your internship did you actually become a writer with Major Bob?
Yes, that's such an interesting. So like I actually interned there for 2 years, just like filing the papers in the back. It's a thing like in Nashville, and probably it's like if you're an intern or you're somebody who wants to be a writer or an artist, you kind of just like don't say anything. And you want people to like find that out on your own because you'd be like, hey, I write songs, like whatever. Then they're like, oh, cool. So does everybody. And
Right.
so I like would file the papers in the back and listen to every episode of like Bobby Cast and like and the writer is and if Country Credits was around then I would have listened to that too. It's like and
Awesome.
so I ended up having like an EDM song that charted while I was in college. And then my boss at the internship at the time was like, "You write songs? Like, why did you never tell me that?" And her name is Tina Crawford. She's the best. And literally that was like I was like, yeah, I want like I've always written songs and I want to be a professional songwriter. And then I started taking other meetings, and she was like, well, play me songs. And so I ended up playing her songs, and nobody else offered me a deal. But then she was like, go write two 100 percenters, and or sorry, write me 100 percenter and come back and play it for me. And so I like missed every class that week, like locked myself in my mom's basement just writing like 100 percenters. I think I
Oh,
wrote like six. And then I went and played like three of them for Tina, and then she offered me a deal. And so that was January of 2020, like that year just started. So we were going to sign, I was going to graduate in May of 2020, then COVID hit. And
mm,
so I ended up not being able to sign until August, which was crazy. So my entire first year was writing on Zoom.
wow. So you weren't able to sign, they just like weren't signing anyone or
Yeah, nobody. There was like that weird long phase where people were like, "Well, we don't even know if more money's going to come in. What if the entire business shapes?" Like,
right.
no one was able to do anything. It was crazy. Yeah, and I was
Wow.
like, of course. Like, I'm getting a publishing deal now, and the world has to end. Like, my luck, you know?
And so okay, so your dream was to write though. It wasn't just like the industry stuff.
Yeah, no. I always just wanted to be a songwriter. I
Mhm.
think at the beginning, like, I kind of wanted to sing a little bit, but very, very, very early on, I was like, no, I just want to write for people. And it
Yeah.
was so crazy because like once I got started doing that, it was like, I signed my deal, and I was just thinking like, well, here's the opportunity to get a Morgan Wallen song or a Jake Owen or a Tim McGraw or Luke Bryan or all those huge stars. And then it took me my first year and a half, really even 2 years of that publishing deal to go, no, it doesn't work like that. Like I have to look to my left and look at my right and see who's coming up with me. And
Mhm.
those are the people that I need to invest in. And then what if them works, then hopefully I can write for those people.
Um, so how did
Yeah.
you like link up with Megan Moroney then? Was she like a friend?
Crazy. So I think this was tail end of 2020. She has the dates. I can't remember the exact dates. But Tina Crawford, my publisher at the time, she had left Major Bob, and Julie Griffith, Megan's manager.
Mhm.
They have been longtime friends. And so Megan was Julie's first client, like first manager person, and reached out to Tina and was like, okay, so I have this new artist. She's never co-written a song before. Do you have any like writers that would be willing to write with somebody like, who's just brand new, doesn't even live in Nashville yet? And she was like, yeah, I have this baby writer Ben who's like 22 and is like, never hasn't really done anything yet. And so I was literally Meg's first co-write.
That's
And
crazy.
then literally I was Avery Anna's first co-write ever too. And so like as soon as I met her, I could just tell that one, she was a fantastic writer, and two, she wanted to say things that nobody else was saying. And for me, that was like, oh my God, well, here's a chance for me. Not only is like she my friend and we work awesome together, but it was like, here's my opportunity too to like write things that might get us recognized because she wants to say things that no one else wants to say.
Right.
And then just like off to the races.
So was it Tennessee Orange your first song together or no?
No, we had written like we wrote a ton before anything else came out, and then Pistol Made of Roses was the first EP, so we did like Hair Salon, and he made me do
So
it,
you
and
were
Keep the
publishing it?
Flower,
Like that. Okay.
and then we did a bunch of like 7 of the songs on the record together, which is so fun.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I never knew like if that was a song that was written way back and then she only released it later or what
Yeah,
the whole song. So
yeah. So Tennessee Orange you want to hear that story?
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, tell us the story.
Yeah. So we wrote that April of last year, so April of 2022. And I had come into work that day, walked into the office. Tina was still working for Major Bob. And she goes, Ben, come here. So I walked up to her office. She was like, hey, I just canceled your write. I was like, she was like, yeah, Megan is writing with David Fanning and Paul Jenkins, and they've never worked together. And like, you and Megan write a ton together. This was, I think, Hair Salon had just kind of come out and was getting a little bit of traction. And she was like, I'm going to throw you in with them just because she hasn't written with them and you guys write together all the time. So maybe it'll be a cool combo. And I love David and I have never met Paul, but now I love Paul. He's a legend. Um, and so I got there and well, Meg calls me when I'm on the way there and she's like, I'm so glad you're coming. Like I had this idea last night. I think we were writing the next day. So she was like, I was going to save it for you for tomorrow, but I just want to write it. Like, let's just write it today. And she was like, it's called Tennessee Orange. And she had like the whole, like in Georgia, they call us in. I'm wearing for Tennessee.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I'm wearing Tennessee Orange trim. So she had the whole idea. And I was like, that's sick. And so like immediately she was like, okay, she always like knows what she wants to say or has some sort of idea. And so we got there and started working on that idea. And again, that write wasn't even supposed to happen. And then that afternoon she went home and changed a couple lines. And then she had called me like 3 weeks later and was like, hey, I'm going to cut Tennessee Orange. Um, because it's so funny. Because she was like, I think we could beat it. We're a football song down the road or whatever. Which at the time we don't know. It was just a song. And then she was like, but let's get back together and edit it and just make sure it's perfect before I go cut it with Christian Bush, her producer. And so we sat down and we edited it and we added the I still want the dogs to win at the very end because she went to Georgia and she wanted everybody to know that like yes, the song's about Tennessee, but she's a Georgia fan. Like
Right.
she didn't want to get confused. And so then it changed everything.
That's how simple it was. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean literally, yeah. And then the social media just went crazy and from there. Literally. And then she signed her record deal. And the day that she signed her record deal, they took it to radio, which was just crazy.
That's crazy. And then it went number one, that was your first number one,
Yeah.
right?
First number one.
Super
It's
exciting.
just So wild. Yeah, now I'm Not Pretty is 44 and climbing. Got a bunch of ads today, so hopefully we can get another. It would be so insane.
I know, and Trader Joe is amazing. I mean, you're part
Oh,
of pretty much all of like a lot of them, right?
yeah, we did I just name them. I love the songs. There's like Trader Joe, Lucky, Sleep on My Side, Another on the Way, Mustang or Me, I'm Not Pretty in Tennessee.
That's freaking crazy.
So awesome.
That is so awesome. Did
Yeah.
you guys expect it though? Like, was she feeling like, oh, this is gonna be my single or
For I'm Not Pretty or for Tennessee?
oh, for Tennessee?
I think that once the reaction of social media happened and the numbers just started going crazy, I think it was just like, it was almost just like, okay, well, what is even going to happen? Because she had like, so many record deal offers and different people wanted to do radio. Some people didn't want to do radio or whatever. I don't even know. But like, thank goodness she signed the right deal and Sony's radio team is amazing.
Happen and like now, like if you didn't write with her, I feel like so many people are probably like, I want to write with Megan,
It's
but like,
crazy.
but then like some people don't want to jump in before like the person's known, so it's really crazy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that, it's like you really want to bet on like who you think can be next. And obviously, like I'm so grateful that that worked out. But it's
Right.
so true. I truly believe like, we're surrounded by so many amazing, talented people in this town every day. And like the odds of a Luke Bryan hearing our song and wanting to cut that song versus our friend who's amazing right now, who's looking to record their first couple songs, like who's to say they're not the next Luke Bryan? And I
Yeah.
think that's always like as somebody like me who's just a writer, it's like, yes, of course, write with Morgan in your mind all the time. And like if that can happen, that's a miracle. But like if you're with somebody that you think's amazing and they're your friend, write all their songs if you can, you
Yeah,
know?
100%, I agree. And I've heard that from other people, but yeah, that's always refreshing to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tennessee Orange is up for a ton of awards, which is super
Oh,
exciting.
it's
CMA
great.
Awards, which is coming up later this year,
Yeah.
and it's up for Song of the Year. Um, so are you gonna be going? That's super exciting night for you.
Yes, it is so unreal. So my fiance Bella Hudson, who's also an amazing singer-songwriter,
Oh, she
she
is.
she's great. She woke me up the morning that the CMA award nominations came out, and it was the coolest thing because she like held the phone in my face like this, and she was like, "Wake up! I promise you, this is not a dream. Like, look at this." And I was just like,
Oh,
my jaw just just that's the last thing you ever expect is something like that.
that's so big. I'm so excited for you.
It's so cool. And then it wasn't even really until today where I was like, well, what if we won? Then I have to get on like I have to say things? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know
people
what
could be
to
looking
say.
at you. If they don't know you
No.
now, they well, everyone pretty much does, but then they'll really know you.
So crazy.
That is so freaking awesome, though. And then the People's Choice Country Awards, which it's up for Music Video of the Year, right? And then
Yeah,
the Song of 2023. I mean, that's crazy. So
crazy.
super congrats from our end to you.
Thank you. It's like it's so fun. Like I don't know, like I can't wait to go to those things and just be like, this is wild. Oh my God.
You'll be like fangirling, taking pictures of people. Um, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's freaking wild.
It's
So
literally like last year, Belle and I were, it's so wild. Like last year, Belle and I went to the CMA Awards. We've gone to the CMA Awards twice. Belle used to work for a company called Creative S, which is amazing. They partner veterans with professional songwriters to write about their experiences.
so
And
cool.
so they took us to the CMA Awards the last 2 years. And last year, when we were sitting there, I like looked down at the tables and like, I was like, we're going to sit there one day. Like, I know we are. And then the fact that it was the year after is just, it's really like, it's like I'm still like, am I dreaming somehow?
I know. I mean, that's literally so many people's dreams, and you're living it, which is so amazing. So,
Awesome. Right
um,
with this guy right here.
aw. So are you a Tennessee fan?
Yeah, my mom went to UT.
Nice. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. That's really funny actually. But so then Abriana, I mean, super talented, and you do a lot of work with her. So was that just did that come were you there from the beginning with her too? Or I mean, obviously
Yeah.
she's up and coming and stuff, but
Yeah, so I was actually Avery and I wrote 2 songs today, which is funny because we were written in a
Oh.
but, so yeah, Tina and David Fanning manage Avery, and they found Avery through Matt from Parmalee. Matt found Avery on TikTok, connected them, and then I was Avery's first co-write ever as well, which
Oh,
is
wow, that's
crazy.
super cool.
Literally on Zoom, I think she was 17 or 16 at the time, and, like, rushing to write because she had to go to volleyball practice, like, at high school.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and then "Narcissist" was, like, the big song with that, which was so cool.
That's so personal. That's such a great.
Yeah, and that was I think that was the first song for me where, like, it's the first song I ever heard on the radio, like, on the highway, and
Mhm,
then or, like, I used to read those YouTube comments all day, like, on the music video because people would pour out their hearts,
mhm.
like, about, their relationships with narcissists and just relating to the song, and I just remember being like, "Whoa, this is so much more than just showing up every day to a different publishing company and writing a song to try to make money or have a hit or something." It's, like, actually, like, the soundtrack to people's lives,
Mhm.
and it means so much to so many people.
My friend said that the other day, we were getting lunch, and he was like he works in the industry, and he was like, "You gotta
Yeah,
remember that, like, there's fans out there that, like, really connect with this." Like, sometimes it becomes
yeah,
so routine, then when
yeah.
you get those, like, moments, it's so impactful, it's crazy.
It's so weird, like, it's so funny, actually, like, Belle and I were just at this, like, grocery store up the street from us, and they had a cheeseburger, we just got a cheeseburger, and she goes, "Turn around," and this guy was, like, getting bread, and he was wearing a hat, and "I'm wearing Tennessee orange" for him on his hat, and I was like, "Can we take a selfie?"
That's so freaking funny.
That was
I
wild.
love that. Do you, like, feel so many emotions, like, when you hear these songs on the radio now, or you just kinda, like, still dreaming, like,
Oh,
daydreaming?
no. I take a video every time.
Really?
Oh, it's the coolest thing ever.
So cool. I love it. So
I'm a nerd. I'm like, it's like the best thing.
yeah. Um, do you plan on working with Megan just going forward? Like, you guys work so well together now.
Yeah. I know we've worked on, I don't know how many songs are on it yet, but we worked a good amount for the second record so far. And I think we're going to do a lot more in January. I know she's just been hitting the road like crazy, which is amazing and
So cool.
playing crazy shows and has so many more shows to come. So we haven't been writing as much as we normally do, but that's that's a result of the songs working, that she gets to go sing them for people. And so yeah, we
Yeah.
plan on riding that out forever till we're old and gray. Hopefully have a ton of hits.
Um, so yeah, on the writing side, like, do you do you feel like most creative in one aspect in like one area, or
Mm,
do you feel like your creativity just sparks when you're around certain people?
yeah. I feel like for me, it's definitely when I'm having fun, like when I'm with people and we're messing around.
Really?
Like me, Megan, Mackenzie, and Micah call ourselves Jimmy James. And when we get in a room, like we before Mackenzie or Megan blew up or anything, like we would write at Major Bob all the time, and the other rooms would complain because we were so loud, laughing, just like joking. And then like in between that, we would write songs. And like I'm Not Pretty was one of those songs that we're
Seriously?
laughing the whole time and we only write half of it because we're having so much fun that we have to go back and finish it. And like but yeah, for me creatively it's like I really do treat it like a sport or practice and like I want to practice all day long. Like
Mhm.
today I started at 9, wrote one at 9 and then did 2 at 11 and then my 3 p.m. was canceled. But like I love to like get as many reps in as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, is there anyone like, do you still have a dream, right? Like you were talking about when you started?
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure you do.
We Megan and I wrote with Hardy, which was awesome.
Oh my
I'm a
God. Super.
huge Hardy fan.
Me too. Wait, so is
Um
that released?
no, it's not. It's I don't know if it ever will be, but I hope it is because
It
I
should.
love that song so much. And
Hardy is
then
a writer.
who's your favorite writer?
No, I just said he's one of a kind. I mean, like, it's crazy. His stuff is so good.
It's so good. I remember like Belle and I, we were in Florida 4 years ago, and it was like he was on the Rednecker radio tour, and we drove 2 hours each way to go see him on his radio tour. It was just like it was just the best. But that was definitely the dream write for me. And then the other dream write is Ashley Gorley, and we haven't written. We were supposed to,
Wow.
but canceled. I just wrote with Ross Copperman for the first time. He's an absolute legend. And yeah, I don't. Yeah, artist wise, for sure. Like, I would love to write with I would love to write with Lee Bryce because I just hear he's just constantly surrounded by the music. I met him one time too. He's amazing.
Mm.
But yeah, I think Hardy was definitely the dream, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Wow.
Yeah. I
Um,
nerd out about all my peers too. It's like, a lot like Jessie Joe Dillon is one of my good friends now. And like it's so fun to even just like sit with her and not only just hang and like we do, but then to also be like, yo, you were just with George Dre, right? Or like, what did you just like who'd you write with today?
I
Like
feel myself so much. Yeah,
yeah,
totally. I get it. That's so crazy.
tell
Um,
me about him.
what?
I'm like, if she's with someone cool, I'm like, what are they like?
It's so funny. Literally.
Yeah,
But I mean that's the beauty of what you do because you're getting to know so many different people like on such a personal level when you write with them. So
for sure.
you just kind of like instantly become friends, I'm sure.
100%.
And then like you had the diverse background where you said like it wasn't always country. So like do you do anything else but other than country at the moment? Or do you plan on?
Yes. I've been doing a little bit of like of K-pop and just writing for like EDM DJs. My best friend Sam Bergeson is unbelievable, and he wrote a song called "Just Dance" and produces Travis Japan, and it was number one in Japan. And
God.
like so, we've been doing a lot of that stuff together. We've always aimed for DJs. Nothing's been crazy yet, but if there's opportunities like that that pop up all the time, I love to do that. Country is always like where I would love to spend my day, but if there's another cool opportunity, like all day long.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I was wondering about that. That's so cool. Do you write like are all your writes co-writes now, or do you ever do stuff alone and you're like, this is needs to be pitched to someone right now?
That's such a great question. To answer it, yes, it's mostly all co-writes now. I did definitely started out writing 100%ers like most people did. Um, I think these days, if I sit down and I'm going to write by myself, which I'd still love to do, I get too excited about it by the first chorus where I like start sending it to people. And I'm like, hey, finish this with me, finish this with me. So it's almost like, yeah, I do like to sit down and write by myself. But then once I do that, then I'm like, oh, well, this would probably be a better song if I had somebody else's ears on it too? And so I don't know if I trust myself all the way there.
Did you get a lot of like publishing groups reaching out after Tennessee Orange went crazy?
Yes. And the thing is, it's really like the best part about it is I've just made so many friends. Like
Mhm.
the coolest thing about it is like, I've got to go meet at all the other publishing companies that I knew one person at or like I knew of, and now I get to walk into a building and be like, "What's up?" Like everybody. And so that's the thing like out of all of this that has been such a blessing is like for me because I was always so interested in everybody and I wanted to know everybody. And like this song has made thank goodness people want to know us, and
Mhm.
so it's so fun to when somebody reaches out or I get to reach out to them to actually make such a genuine connection and friendship with like all the label people and like radio teams and other publishers and like because really Nashville we're all doing the same thing and we're all in it together, and if someone else wins that's my friend or something, then we're gonna win. It's like which is so true.
Mhm. Yeah, that's yeah. Um, it's funny you say that because it is true. Like everyone's like, oh, no one cares until they care. And it's like as soon as they know your name, it's like, hello. But
Yeah.
honestly, it's not even out of like it's just people are busy and there's so many people, like you said, like everyone's so talented. It's not
Right.
even like out of like a mean bone.
No.
It's just how it is. But now
Yeah.
everyone knows you, which is super exciting.
Oh, it's so exciting. I still go to bed and I wake up and I'm like, I do the same thing and I'm so stoked. But then it also like does feel like It
Mm,
feels good to like chase something and have a little bit of it pay off,
right.
and then to be it just gets you more excited for the next thing
Mhm.
because it's just like you get bit by the bug immediately and it's like, oh, can we get another? Can we get another? Can we get another?
What would you have done if like none of these songs worked out? Would you just been grinding like the same?
Oh yeah, I'll be doing the same
Get
thing.
stuck with it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would be definitely just like playing rounds and meeting as many new artists as I possibly could.
Yeah. So
I'm
would
not
that
good at anything else. So
I guess running, right? You said
yeah, running and eating a lot of food.
really funny. Um, would that be your number one piece of advice then for people? Just like start with from the ground up and find your people?
For sure. Find your people, put your nose down, put the blinders on. Somebody told me that early on, and it's the coolest thing because this town, you're going to make so many friends and you're going to be with so many other talented people, like we talked about. And a lot of people are going to have success before you. In fact, most people probably are going to have success before you. And that's how it felt for me.
Mm,
But the hardest thing is right when you're starting out, and I'm still starting out, but it's like when people have success, you have to be happy for them
mm,
because it's gonna come back around to you. And I really do think like the blinders on like a horse. You don't want to see who you're competing against if
mm.
you're even competing. Just focus on your trajectory. And if somebody else wins, that's awesome. Cheer them on. But then don't forget your path. I think that's so important to not drown yourself out in the comparison game. And it's also so important too, like for me, it's like just as much as you're honing in your craft too, learn about the business
Mm,
because the music business is such a niche business
mm,
that only a few people really understand super well. And like a lot of things that I tell people, especially who are artists these days, it's like, don't just have, I want a record deal someday as, your goal, because in reality, there's never been a better time to make music as an independent artist,
mm,
financially and creatively.
mm.
Like you can make records that change the world from your studio in your house, and then you can own your entire master and not give anything away. Hopefully, they'll give some pieces to songwriters, but like, you know,
So true. And there's so much to learn. Like everyone could teach you something.
for sure, everyone can teach you something.
Super
Yeah,
true. So I pretty much wrap up my interviews with three questions, which I'm sure you've
yeah.
seen. So best place to hang out in Nashville. They're just fun questions, but best place to hang out in town.
Yeah.
Favorite all-time artist. Doesn't have to be country. Favorite up-and-coming artist. Doesn't have to be country.
Ooh. First place is an easy answer. I mean, first question. Ember's Ski Lodge in 12 South
What?
is by far my favorite place. Like all the bartenders are so nice to me and my friends. We're there pretty much every weekend. I live now within walking distance, so it's kind of a
Oh
problem.
wow.
But
Super cool.
that place, and there's never any music people in there. Like it's just a place where you can hang out with your buddies and sit on the sidewalk and have a
Yeah.
beer in the sun,
No
which
one
is
ever
great.
said that yet. So that's super cool.
Good. And they better not.
Everyone says Red Door.
They say Red Door?
Yeah.
Oh. See, Red Door is so amazing and it's such an amazing like haven for the music industry. But like if you go to Red Door, get ready to like talk to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you know that.
You're not off.
Okay, then favorite artist of
Favorite, yeah,
all time.
favorite of all time.
Hmm. Definitely. Okay, I have two answers. Sam Hunt has been the most influential artist on me.
Wow.
Like his songwriting, I've always loved. And when I was an athlete in college and trying to do music, I was so, 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 so inspired by his story of how he played football and then like, tried to go to the NFL and then did music and just the way he put out, Between the Pines mixtape and like all of those early songs and also that he wrote for other people, like that was so influential to me. And I had a poster on my wall of him for years.
It's awesome.
And then I think favorite artist it was Rascal Flatts,
Mhm.
just because melodies are insane. And just
Yeah.
my mom got me Rascal Flatts tickets for my high school graduation, which was awesome.
Aw. That's
Yeah. Yeah, Flats is I waited tables on Joe Don in college too, which was so cool.
wow. Where was that?
Sam's this restaurant called Sam's Place in Belmead.
Nice.
It was wild. Okay,
That's
and then my favorite up and coming artist. My fiance Bella Hudson is the easy answer because she's amazing, and I think she's gonna explode. Um,
super cool. Yeah, I
who-
listened to her latest single. So good.
did you? It's so good. I love that song.
Yeah, it's good.
Who else from my up and coming
Megan
artist?
Moroney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, Avery, if you can still categorize that, Avery, I think Avery's destined for even bigger things. I really do love this new kid named Carson Wallace. I'm so excited about Carson. I try to write with him as much as we can. Like I get really excited about him.
So cool.
I think that it, and always like we write a lot together, but like Mackenzie Carpenter is amazing too.
Hmm.
I think those are like I'm like I don't know up and coming because up and coming I'm like thinking of like all these like you super new people.
So
But yeah, I think that's it. Are those good answers?
yeah, that was good. I'm like, how am I gonna put that all into the reel? But I'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you so much for jumping on with us, and we can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much. This was fun.